headset in real quick. Alright, turn off this. Alright, don't slow down. So, real quick, having a mindset. The crazy part is, man, like the spaces I usually roam in and be around, man, I'm kind of like so far tapped out from them. What's going on, young? Things ain't the same no more, man. Like, even my cousin, he had a conversation with me the other day, and hey, both of these headphones are kind of rough. What's going on, boss lady? So, wellness for frugal mama, how you doing? So it's just like being in a situation to where I've grown. Oh, back to what I was saying about my cousin. So my cousin, me and him were having a conversation, and he just turned 35. And you know, like I told him, I said, man, you just turned 35. And he was like, yeah, man, I feel good. 35 ain't what I thought it was gonna be. Everybody crying about this and that body. Man, I feel good at 35. I said, okay, give it some time. I say, but you not looking at what 35 represents. And he's like, man, I just feel better and, you know, better about life and this. And I'm like, okay. And once again, give it some time. Because ultimately, you know, when you just kicking in or getting in this new little feel or urge or whatever about yourself, you know, it's temptation amongst things that make you feel good. But overall, the mindset change. You know, you grow a little bit, you start adding more to your life versus, you know, the depth of taking away. A lot of people, you know, as they say nowadays, the stand on business, the locking in, you know, you start focusing more on goals that you want to accomplish versus, you know, man, I want to hit the club all the time. What's going on, Bronze? And just like I said, it just, you know, the thing is, get away from the old you, you know. Now, the standard of the old you is still being represented to the fullest, like greatness, then by all means, you know, you can add some more to it, but, you know, just change is always a good thing. Growth is always a good thing, a process. But to, you know, remain the same and never have a better outcome on your life, just don't see it. But, you know, we all have our issues, our faults, the things that we go through in life. We try to change, try to be a better person. And overall, like I said, it's just a mindset, man. What's going on, Temple? A lot of people got to adapt to the new way of life, the new way of things. You know, I was just on a pod earlier. I'm about to jump back on it too. Okay, what's going on? Yeah, because, you know, I don't want to be the same as I was when I was 18. When I was 18, man, I was wild. Go ahead, Temple, shoot your question. Talking about the Gen Zs, or what's the generations? I mean, everybody has their own way of doing things. I could say, you know, the boomers, the Gen Xers, and some of the millennials, they were taught with a stern, you know, way of doing things. They had a placement of things being in order. Now comes the later millennials. Then you have the Gen Zs and the alphas. The structure is not there. That's why this culture of men and women doing what they want, because the structure is not there, honestly. You know, the parents didn't want their kids to be so hard the same way that, you know, they were taught. So they were a little lenient on these kids now. And that's why we developed a lot of kids with, no real main structure of doing things to an extent of, doing things right. Saying, focusing on the family. And that was like the biggest thing. Like focusing on the family, having things set in place to where you're able to, build something. You know how many people actually trying to build a family in their 40s and 50s now? When you should have been settling down in your 20s and going into your 30s. Don't you know most people, great grandparents, are getting married between the ages of 13 to 18? And we're getting married, what? Because not me, I got married when I was 25, but you got people getting married in their 30s. I seen an older couple. I did a video on Instagram where an older couple got married at what it was 5 years in, and they were like 50 something. So I don't know if it was like the second marriage or what, but they were 5 years in. It's like, you would think the younger people would have the newer relationship, but there were older people that had new relationships. So, to mention the divorce, when people are getting divorced so much, everything that's putting out here in society is giving us a way to kind of, grow with accepting the new order that they're trying to push on us. I'm not adhering to the new order. That's why I say it goes back to your mindset. And the younger generation, man, they lost. Like, who's gonna help them? Let's charge my phone. Who's gonna help this new generation become better? Because right now they're kind of lost. They're in a situation to where, one or two issues break with them, and they're done. Wanda, what's going on? Haven't been moving around in the space, so I haven't seen you in a minute. Every now and then I catch your videos. Like I said, I'll be moving. But yeah, I mean, who's gonna help that young generation? Like my boys. Yeah, they real soft. I mean, I seen a video where this lady called her kid and was like, get 3 cups of water and put it in a pot. She literally took 3 cups and put them in a empty pot. And I sent that to my son. I was like, that's you and your brother. And he bust out laughing. I'm like, you shouldn't be laughing at that. You should be mad about that. Yeah, I've been working a lot too, so that's why I ain't been around too much in the space. But yeah, I mean, I'm sticking more to my finance because, the growth on me, talking about relationships a lot, and the dynamics are up between men and women. I'm like, I'm growing out of that. Some people you can't change. When you get to a certain age, you set in your ways, and once you set in your ways, it's hard for you to come out of that. You got 50, 60-year-old men and women fighting about being accepted, but they don't want to change to be accepted. Honestly speaking, I'm just going to say this. Starting with the women, there's a lot of women that can get married right now if they change a few things. There's a lot of men that can get married if they just change a few things. And a lot of times, the men, it's harder for them because they got to have the money to have a relationship. That's the mindset they're not looking at, because no woman is going to take a man with no money. It's very hard to find a woman that accepts you when you at the bottom. Started from the bottom, now we're here. You got to be already here for most, especially an older woman. She's trying to find love. She's not gonna deal with nobody that don't got a job. Like, I mean, in her teen years, yeah, but nah, you gotta have, some type of balance, and a man do needs to provide, and that's not taught to a lot of these young men nowadays, let alone with the women. There's a certain sense of responsibility a woman has to carry in a relationship. I was looking at Ayana Fix My Life, and she was showing this lady how to talk to her husband. She's like, your sons, your kids, because they had kids together, but these were his kids from a previous relationship. AP was going on, and she was like, your kids sleep all day, your kids, and it was crazy because I'm like, they y'all kids now. Like, if you want to split to say to, standards, like I'm saying your kids for a specific reason. That's like when I tell people I got 4 kids. And then when I tell them how old my oldest is, 26 and 24, they were like, dang, boy, you started early. Because I'm 42. I was like, nah, them are my stepkids, but, they still my kids. And I just have to, that's the only reason I kind of give that division. Or, we talk about some things, I have to let them know, like, these are the 2 I had with my wife, and these are the 2 she had. But other than that, my kids. And this whole notion with being a stepdad is bad. I always say this. I don't recommend being a stepdad to no man, but at the same time, it ain't for everybody. Just like doing crack. Crack ain't for everybody. Some people smoke crack. Some people don't want to smoke crack. Some people want to try crack. But the point of it is like I'm going back to that mindset. It's something that the person who knows what they're getting themselves into is something for them. It might not be for everybody, but it's for the person that, gets into it. You know what you're going to get out of this relationship, or you know what you're going to get out of the situation once you get into it. Or before you get into it, you know the outcome that comes with that. So when it comes down to it, majority of the people already know what's going to happen. And like I said, that mindset is crazy, man. I don't want to be, an old guy. Like, prime example. I seen a video with this guy, Mr. Let Go. He was having a beef with Cooley, another YouTuber. So, Mr. Let Go said something about Cooley being something with his old lady. And Mr. Let Go, he approached him in the back of I think We Need to Talk podcast. No, Conversations. No, We Need to Talk is Conversations, I think. Conversations Some Talk podcast is a real big podcast. But Mr. Let Go is a recurring, person on there. So everybody knows him. The guy Cooley, nobody knew him. So when he stepped to Mr. Let Go to try to fight him, and he was like, dude, I got on, what did he say, $5,000-$10,000 shoes. What I look like fighting you? That would have been a good, that would have punched me harder than him punching me. I'm trying to fight a man. We both grown, and like I said, mindset. That was crazy. Don't get me wrong. I'm the person that's always gonna avoid the fight. But sometimes I'm petty because I want you to try to push me, and I'm gonna give you what you're asking for. But the point is, I'm too old to be fighting. Even though I know how to fight, even though, like I said, I used to wrestle in high school. I could throw somebody to hell if I want to. And I'm big. But the point of it is, why fight? I don't need to go to jail. I got kids at home. I got a wife. I got to pay these bills. I got to go to work. Time off of work is me not making money. That's my hobby. I like making money. Like when I get off of work, I go find something else to do to go make money. I can literally make money. If I lose my job right now, Kara the girl miniature, what's going on, Kara? If I lose my job right now, even though my pickup truck down, I'm finna get my pickup truck fixed. I can always make money with my pickup truck. That's the mindset I have with me out here moving around. I can always make money with my pickup truck. I hope this background ain't bad. Because I got these headphones, they're supposed to be noise cancellation. I should have used my other headphones. But yeah, like I can always make money. That's like one of my hobbies, man. To make money. And when it comes down to it, like I said, it just the mindset of where are we growing at in life? What are we doing in life? Honestly speaking, not just far as the growth, but like literally what we doing in life. Are we moving in a positive or better direction? Like, is things going for the greater good from us? Or are we just remaining the same, decreasing in life? You know, not having the ability of growth because we so caught up on creating an image or trying to obtain the image. That image stuff is old. I mean, it's literally gone. Don't you know, like, my greatness, like today, I gotta go buy a pair of boots. I got on, and I should take one of these shoes off and show them. These my old Penny Hardaways. I got the Penny Hardaway 3s on going to work. Like, I was wanting to give some of my old shoes to my son. I still got a couple of Jordans and stuff that I got that saved for my son, but I got these Penny Hardaways on going to work. Boy, you couldn't even pay me. If my shoes were messed up, you couldn't even pay me to go to work in my nice shoes. Nice shoes, I clean them up right now. Man, I look for a pair of good boots. I was telling one of my friends, I was looking at a podcast, and some big dudes on there, was it Grits and Eggs podcast? I was looking at Grits and Eggs podcast on YouTube, and they was interviewing this comedian, Ronnie something. He was a big dude. I remember him, you know, he was talking about how he was on a comedy show, Comic View and all that. But they were talking about wearing New Balances and stuff. Like, I bought a pair of Brooks one time, and the funny thing, this white guy came up to me, he was like, man, that was comfortable, ain't they? I was like, yeah, they're pretty comfortable. He's like, man, I'm telling you, Bunny Rose, what's going on with you, Bunny Rose? I ain't seen you in a minute. I ain't even seen you broadcasting. I guess I don't even get you in my algorithm no more. I gotta come over there and check you out. Like I say, you know, I always listen to your music, just be riding or, you know, be working. Especially when I be loading my truck and stuff. Just be vibing out. But yeah, it's like, I had a pair of Brooks on. Those Brooks, I actually got those Brooks from my thing, Ross, for like $60 or something like that. When I found Brooks like over 100 some bucks, I was like, no wonder this dude was gawking over my shoes. I ended up getting some Marlins, like 125. Those things were like 2 something. They was like hiking boots. And the guy told me, he's like, boy, you got some Marlins on, man. You love your feet, man. You love your feet. I had a pair of, what were those other shoes I had that everybody was got? And these are work boots. Like, that's the thing that I get now, work boots. You know, one guy seen a post where he was talking about getting a pair of Red Wings. The Red Wings are like real comfortable. Like, you can customize boots. I did not know that. They have a lot of boot companies. You could customize the insoles, customize everything. Like, you could replace the bottom of the boot if it's messed up. If you ran down the foot, place the bottom of the sole, and you know, as long as the top intact, good. You could do certain things. Put a patch over the toe of the boot. Like, it's so many ways you can keep your boots because of the comfort that you already have in those boots. Keep the insoles. You know, like, man, it's a lot of stuff. Like, Skechers are my big thing. Like, I got 2 pair of Skechers loafers, a black one and a tan one. I wear them out, you know, when I just be walking around, and they comfortable. Like, walking on air, man, that memory foam type in there. Like, my growth on life is different. Like, who would have knew I would be talking about wearing some shoes for comfortability more or less than how they look. and giving myself like, man, these is some style. Like, I used to have it to where my shoes, my hat, all that match. And people were like, man, head to toe. I was like, once I started getting money, I started buying my clothes. It's like one of those, my friend, he had me down laugh because he was talking about people who buy off the rack. Like, they'll go to the mannequin and be like, give me all this that the mannequin got on. Because they don't know how to put their clothes together. They don't know how to accessorize. So, you know, when it comes down to it, hey, it's a growth thing, man. Like my son, he's 14. When I say all the way down before he started dressing himself, this guy would just put on the smallest of clothes because he likes certain clothes and he don't even care how they fit. I remember one time he was wearing a size, I think 8 shirt, but he was in a 12 now. He's supposed to be wearing 12s. That shirt all small, look like he damn near got a tank top on, about to go over his belly. And I'm like, well, you don't see how small that is? He's like, And I'm like, what do you mean? Dude, you gotta wear this. You finna go out in public with me. You're not finna be looking like that. Now, the boy want certain shoes. He's obsessed with the spray ground book bags. He's starting to get plaits. He wants dreads. He's trying to have more of a better look of himself. And, you know, that's the mindset, man. The girls are looking at him like he been having a girlfriend ever since he was like in the 6th grade. So, you know, ever since then, he started changing his view on how he need to dress, how he need to look. And that's a representation, you know. And it's a lot of kids that get into like that. You know, as they grow, they start changing and evolving. And that's what, you know, if that makes you be a better person, then be it. But what's your mindset that makes you a better person when you become an adult? What makes your mindset be a better person when, you know, you turn 30, 40, 50? If you have to change your mindset by the time you're 60 and 70, you're lost. You're lost. There's no reason I've always talked to my uncles them and they say, by the time you get to an older age, you should be set in your ways. There's some things that you should be tweaking, but you shouldn't be saying, I'm trying to find myself or, as a quote unquote, get myself together. There's no reason a person over, I would say 40, but give it grace 50. At the age of 50, there's no reason you should be saying I'm getting myself together. Shay Love in the building. What's going on, Shay Love? You know, and that's the thing. I shouldn't be yelling, man, I need to get myself together. Man, I need to do things right. Man, I need to do this. Why? If you're to the age of 50, you should be tweaking some things to make your life better. You should be tweaking some things to put things in perspective for your family. That's it. Like, what else are we doing? You know, I'm not gonna be a 50-year-old dude, you know, bouncing in the club. I'm going to bars. I'm going to lounges. You know, I'm not in there where they, you know, back in Charlotte was the time where we grew up in Charlotte, you know, the old school. A lot of people don't know who this group is. Field Mob. Field Mob is Atlanta, old school Atlanta group. Field Mob. I was listening to Sean J yesterday, but stuff like that. I remember Laffy Taffy was popping. These older cats, these older guys was like, Laffy Taffy? What's that? I mean, ain't that a candy? They was not trying to dance with that. But back in the day, oh man, let the what they call it, the Sugarfoot, Sweetfoot, what's the old song that everybody used to dance to a lot back in the day? Man, what's that thing? I can't think of the car wash. But this is one song everybody used to dance to. But at the car wash, everybody be jumping, singing at the car wash, doing a little 1-2 step. It's an evolving, man. Like, I'm not going to the club doing a Laffy Taffy at this age of my life. You know, I'm not even really dancing like that. You know, they say when you get older, you don't dance, you two-step. You two-step. You know, the women, they got it. The women are dancers. They dancers all day. But, you know, I guess, you know, it all depends on the person because, like I said, they're part of growth. But you should be evolving to better yourself. You should be involving the better people around you. You know, like I say with my kids, my son, he's starting to get into fashion. That's something I'm helping him with, you know, evolving his skills. Like my other son, that's the twin, I'm telling him he should be more into classic dressing because he's not with all that athletic wear and stuff. And he wants to, you know, get his accessories and everything together with his clothes, wearing, you know, wears like his jewelry, his necklace, his bracelet, and like, you know what I'm saying? He's not into hats right now. None of my boys not really into hats. They wear just skull caps or something like that. That's it. But I'm into hats. I got a lot of hats, you know. It's one of them that follow the money. But when it comes down to it, like I said, it's just a lot of people got to grow. A lot of people got to be better in their mindset. You know, we can't be doing the same thing year after year after year without no positive, you know, outlook. That's why I talk about finance so much. That's why I be trying to tell people, like, these coming years right now is going to put in perspective a lot about finance. You know, getting you somewhere to stay. Honestly, I'm beating a dead horse with this, but I've always said, but that's the thing. You living in a cycle, man, dog, it starts with changing your outlook. The biggest thing, like, hey, Tampa, check out that Grits and Eggs podcast. You would like that. Man, I'm talking about, it's nice. It's nice. Grits and Eggs podcast. The dude who hosted it, he stays in Douglasville, Georgia. But, I mean, when it comes down to it, he was, you know, basically saying that too. A lot of people need to get in trades because he got this little segment on there called Put Down the Mic, Pick Up a Wrench. Like, he's trying to get people to be mechanics and, you know, get a trade. Because trades right now, I'm teaching my son. That's why I'm teaching my son plumbing. I said, now that's the thing. You might not want to deal with crap, so you don't want to go in that field. But let's go into carpentry. Let's go into being an electrician. A handyman. Handyman makes good money. I said, dude, you can do this while you're in college. Or if you don't go to college, you already come out with hands-on training. You know, I'm pushing my kids more into a trade first. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. Like, YouTube has grabbed a lot of these kids' mind. Some of it is good, some of it is bad. And they think it's so easy to do this, you know, YouTubing and podcasts. I mean, just social media in general. Look at Country Wayne. Country Wayne successfully started him a network of just doing short videos. And that's bringing more people to his platform, you know, to where now, man, he's evolved. And a lot of people, they keep forgetting, like, Country Wayne, he's not one of those comedians that, you know, studied the craft, came up with the greats. He was just naturally funny, and over time, he did his thing. He's one of the big outbreaks, like Soulja Boy. Remember, Soulja Boy was one of the big outbreaks from getting signed off of YouTube. Because he was just doing videos, and doing his songs, and that's how he got found by, you know, I think it was L.A. Reid, not L.A. Reid, but DJ Toon. I think DJ Toon, one of those DJs or somebody found him because his son was doing the Soulja Boy. And, you know, went from there. But that's the thing right now. A lot of us, man, we got to get out of this rut of being stuck. Like, even with me, like with this job I'm at now, I'm I'm thinking I've pretty much passed, because nowadays, and it's sad to say that none of these jobs don't have no seniority. None of these jobs don't value their employees like they used to do. Like my old job, I was with my job for, what was it, 13 years before I quit. And it was always the kind of poking the bear method with them, because the pay was good. So a lot of people, they didn't think wasn't gonna go nowhere. But overall, when I had kids, man, I wanted to be home with my kids more. Like I worked out of town and I made a lot of money. And if you hear all my videos, I always talk about me making a lot of money going out of town. But I wanted to be a father. Like my dad, he passed, and I wanted to give my kids a lot of stuff I didn't have. So therefore I did some sacrifices. And that's the thing, what I was talking about earlier, that our parents were hard on us. Like I'm pretty much damn near on the line of being a Gen Xer. I was born in 82. I'm pretty much on the line of being a Gen Xer, because that's how I was raised. I was raised by my grandma. So I was on the line of being a Gen Xer. I was literally raised damn near on as the Gen Xers are raised. Like the things that I went through, being a latchkey kid, man, in the early 90s, it wasn't too many latchkey kids. You know, that's when the laws were getting in about kids, you know, being walking out there getting kidnapped. I remember we used to go into summer camp. Me and my two brothers, we was less than 10 years old going to summer camp by ourselves. I was 8. My brother was 6, and I got another brother older than me that's 9. All three of us went to summer camp by ourselves. Man, that was not allowed. Like the older people was cool with it, but the younger people, they was like, "Oh, we're calling defects. I'm this and that." Like that's how it was. Like that new generation, man. I sent my kids, 14-year-olds. I sent them in the store yesterday to go buy some damn drinks. Don't you know, I had to go in there and still go get the drinks. I didn't feel like going in because I was driving. I was tired. Went out to eat. But I had to go in there and get the drinks. My son, he was looking for what he wanted to look for. He wasn't looking for what I was telling him to look for. He was like, "Daddy, I don't see your water in there. It's sparkling water." I go in there, two cases of water, went right below the juice at the very bottom, sparkling water down there. It's like I said, the mindset with these kids, man. And I'm constantly reprogramming my kids because I'm trying to get them from that. But this is the thing, I can't shelter them from the internet, because if they're not on the internet, they're still seeing the kids act like this at school. It's all around. And excuse me. One of the things that I'm gonna end up doing probably is just moving towards the country, because everything's a lot slower. Even though these kids still have that vibe from, the city, but it's a lot slower there, and it's a little more focused and maintaining about stuff and getting things together. Start my truck real quick. And like I said, to most, man, we got to do better. I mean, if you single, I was just talking to my wife about that. It was a single lady, she got scammed. She got double scammed. So first, she ended up buying a car. She went and took a mechanic with her. Mechanic told her there were some issues with the car, but he thinks she should still buy it. She buys the car, and something's wrong with it. And I think her other car was a BMW. The water pump went out in the BMW. They were saying it was going to be 12 hours to fix her water pump. They charge $200 to $300 an hour. So I'm like, And I told her pretty much they probably could put that water pump off and put it back on in less than 4 to 5 hours. Because they can get a whole bunch of mechanics to work on it, and the rest of the time they'll just be sitting there holding her car, for the recommended time. Because all these mechanics go off recommended time. That's what they give an estimate recommended time according to a book, and then that's when they give you the pricing and all that. Most time stuff like that, going to YouTube University, you can do the stuff yourself. But even with her situation, she got took. She got took by the mechanic by buying a lemon, and then she got took by the dealer. Like I told her, her best bet was to take a man in there, her uncle or somebody to take down there. She has a son. She's raising him by herself, and I'm like, it's hard out here. I'm like, it's hard out here for her. I told my wife, imagine how hard it is for a man. He's not getting took like that because he knows certain things. The ones that don't know, trust me, there's men that don't know anything. I know a dude that's 67 years old and he don't even know how to change a tire. He was a soldier, everything, been in the military for 20 years. All he know how to do is give instructions and take instructions. He hand-to-hand combat, he will beat you. At his age, he will still tear you up at 65. I think he's 65. He will still break you down at 65. But he don't know how to change the tire. He's a chef in the kitchen now. He can whip up something, but don't know how to change the tire. That's just it. Like, we need to change. Like I said, it's just a lot of men that's out there, man. They're in a hard predicament, just like with some women. We don't want to have those discussions like that. We don't want to talk like that, but a lot of people are going through it, man. A lot of people are having issues with life. Nobody wants to talk about having those issues, but a lot of people have those issues in life. Some have to go back to school. Hey, I always encourage people to drive trucks. I start off driving box trucks. Get to be an 18-wheeler if you want to, but stay at a box truck. If you want to be at a box truck, hey, box trucks make money too. It depends on how you drive them, how you go out of town. Plumbers make money. Plumbers make good money. Put in the toilet, you might anywhere from $100 to $250 just for the install. Some plumbers charge $350, and you buy the toilet. So you out almost $400 or $500 for just installing the toilet. Some simple water leaks, changing a water heater. Plumbers are charging $1,200 to change a water heater right now. Ridiculous, like ridiculous. Just imagine if all you do is water heaters, you do, let's say, a water heater a day at $1,000 a pop. That's $5,000 for what? 45 minutes, maybe, if. The hardest part is draining the old water heater. That takes the longest. And now somebody was telling me, I was looking into it too, is getting a water pump to suck the water out of the water heater and pump it out. I'm like, man, there you go right there. And I'm like, when it comes down to it, we got to do better, like life in general. So I'm about to get off of here, about to get ready to hit this work. But hey, man, your outcome, mindset, we got to do better. Like I said, finance. Stay on top of your money. Where my book is? Write it down. I ride around my planner now because, I'm riding around, I'm getting it. So there's this paper right here. There we go. All right, so this planner actually gives you an outline of the stuff that you need to be doing for your actually gives you an outline on how you need to be planning this stuff out. Gives you instructions. See? So I've been getting into it, you know, getting everything together. So I can get my money right. And I mean, all it takes is you doing the work. Writing all your stuff down, man. Every time we turn around, we have these conversations. A lot of people always say they don't know where their money going. You know, you know, right here with this tracking your spending. Let's see. You see those little writers? Trying to get it focused as I can on food, everything. Once you know where your money's going, you can better suit yourself. Like, it comes to a point where I make so much money, I got to get my money separated from my business. I'm buying a whole bunch of tools, pouring back into my business. I'm trying to teach my kids this. You know, I'm trying to teach my sons to better their life. I'm trying to teach my sons to, you know, have their own. You know, if they want a job, they can get a job. They don't want a job, they don't have to go work for somebody because they're able to take care of themselves, making the money that they make, or have investments, you know, learning the stock. My brother's right now, one of my friends is getting my kids in the stock. So if they don't want to go work for somebody, hey, invest the stock, make that little money, you know, and go about their business. But it's according to how they want to do things. But once again, it's late. I'm at work. And you know what I say? We here, we gone. Peace.